Will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers come in and make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you like, or looking at you like you're a woman, because the man card means everything.
I had no idea we're going to go this direction with the podcast. This is absolute. But listen, we've talked about it. We've had a lot of the guys on to talk about this stuff. Are you done with Hollywood because of this specific reason?
I'm still working. I still, I haven't made the money necessary to do all of the other stuff. So I still have to go and do the Chitlin circuit. I still have to do the job that I need to. But eventually, I've done what I set out to do, which was to redefine the universe. I've proven what I've set out to do, and that's why I have all the patents. Whether they evaluate it or not, that's up to them. But I've done the work.
This man is insane. He is absolutely... Did you hear what he just said about he accomplished his goal of changing the universe? Now, if you want to see how insane this guy is, I think Professor Dave... Professor Dave definitely destroyed him and exposed his dishonesty, his fraud, and his insanity. The things that this guy goes around saying, it's just insane. I'm not even going to repeat it. Professor Dave did it better than I ever could. But he's a lunatic. And I noticed that there's a pattern of right-wing media and the right-wing influencers elevating lunatics. And I notice a lot of times the audience doesn't even seem to notice. You have someone who's clearly suffering from a mental illness, and then the audience is just sitting there like, oh, yeah, he's so smart. Yeah, he's a great guy. Thanks for bringing him on. He's a cool dude. And I'm just like, is the audience as crazy as he is? I mean, let's just look at the track pattern of the kinds of people that have been elevated by right-wing influencers. You have the pillow guy, Mike Lindell, claimed that Trump was going to get reinstated after the 2020 election by a certain date, right? Obviously, that never happened. And there's been so many episodes of him just seeming like he's off his rockers. And he has a history of drug abuse, so maybe he fried his brain, so that would make sense. You have Lynn Wood, who rants about satanic pedophile cults, claimed that Trump secretly was president when Joe Biden was president. Roseanne Barr, an absolute lunatic. Another person clearly suffering from serious mental issue. Recently, she said Hitler was a victim and she was pushing some Holocaust denial as a quote-unquote joke. Then you got the Kraken lady, Sidney Powell, clearly mentally unstable. Alex Jones, the guy's obviously a lunatic. And yet again, he gets platformed in right-wing media, and the audience is sitting there like, yeah, Alex Jones tells the truth, and he's always right. And I'm just like, do you guys not see that this guy is a lunatic? I mean, I realize some of them probably think, oh, he's just playing a character, and to some degree he is. But I don't think that's all just acting. I think some of that is something's wrong with the guy. Then you got Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani, the guy who's always drunk, the guy who keeps leaving voicemails on the wrong people's phone numbers, exposing his legal strategies and all kinds of things like that. And he keeps doing it over and over again. Just mentally ill and drunk, or both. Then you got MTG and the space lasers. You got Michael Flynn with the QAnon nonsense, talking about replacing democracy with a quote-unquote single religion. Randy Quaid, who fled the U.S. claiming that Hollywood assassins were after him. Kanye West, who recently did an interview in a black hood, like a KKK hood. And only now do you see right-wing media really standing out and saying this guy is a little bit nuts. After all the insanity that he's doing, everybody else, we're looking at him, this guy's nuts. He's lost his mind. But yet the right-wing media and even the GOP, I think they had posted him as one of the most influential people in terms of conservatism or something. It was like him and some other lunatics. They were promoting this guy. The guy who ended up talking about, oh, I love Hitler, right? And again, through a lot of the insanity, they were still propping him up. It took him to put on a black hood. I think actually that's one of the best examples. Because it's almost like he was a social experiment. How much could you do and get away with and still be celebrated by the right wing? Right? So he just kept doing more and more crazy. Like imagine as a social experiment. Like he was purposely trying to see like how much could he get away with. I'm going to have my girl just strip naked. I'm going to say, I love Hitler. And when they say, you don't mean, I'll be like, yeah, I love him, right? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to say something else. I'm going to have my daughter eat off the body of a naked woman. I'm going to keep doing like, oh, they still celebrating me. Okay, let me step it up. Oh, they still celebrating me? Oh, okay. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to wear a black KKK hoodie. This has got to be the limit where they're going to stand up. And I guess that's it. That's what it took. That's what it took for the right wing to be like, okay, this guy's nuts. Wow. Laura Loomer chained herself to Twitter HQ, calls Muslims invaders. Donald Trump Jr. I don't know if this guy's so much mentally insane as he is a druggie. Guy always seems like he's on cocaine or something. He's rambling, he's sweating. And then you got people like Roger Stone with Richard Nixon tattoo all over his back. Like, what kind of person would tattoo Nixon? I mean, the size of his entire back. Not even a small one. Large-ass tattoo. Like, who does that? Walking around looking like the Penguin with that goddamn hat. And then you got, somebody who's not really MAGA, but definitely supports MAGA, is Lord Jamar. This MAGA guy believes in flat earth, got destroyed by Professor Dave, and then he got embarrassed. Then he came up with some story about how he thought he got drugged. The guy's an absolute lunatic. Oh, how could I forget Donald Sutherland? Donald Sutherland. Lunatic. That's the guy who played Jack Bauer's father, I think, in 24. If you see these videos, this guy, he's just gone. He's just gone. Right? I don't even have the space to have any opinion about the ideology of any of these people. Because it's nothing to do with their ideology. It's not about they believe in conservatism and I don't like conservatism. It's the fact that these guys are nuts. They could be progressives. They could have been leftists. They could have been any other ideology. And it would not matter. Because what we're talking about is that the fact that these people are nuts. Notice in contrast, you don't have lunatics like this being celebrated on the left. Right? You might disagree with some of the people that, they have on their shows, but you're not going to see David Pakman, who I'm not a fan of, or Brian Tyler Cohen, who I'm not a fan of. You're not going to see them elevating nobody that's clearly suffering from a mental illness. I've never seen them platform anybody that looks like they're drunk or they're on crack, right? You don't see that in left wing, right? If you go to the extremist side, like far left, I mean, that's definitely where you see some people that definitely seem to be a little bit off, to say the least. But they're not going to be platformed. They're not going to be, like, for example, they're not going to get recognition by the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party didn't even want to talk to David Pakman. Come on, man. David Pakman, who, as far as I'm concerned, is like a centrist. They're afraid of David Pakman? Come on, man. The Democratic Party is afraid of David Pakman. Meanwhile, the Republican Party platforming Roseanne Barr. Everybody know she done lost her goddamn mind. It's not about disagreeing with her. It's about she's mentally ill. Not trying to call her names, not trying to make fun of her. I'm just saying it like it is. She's nuts. Just like Terrence is nuts. But you go on this video and you look in the comment section and nobody seems to recognize. Everybody's like, oh yeah, this is cool. And yeah, man card. Yeah, Howard, he's such a brilliant man. This is the kind of people who are watching PBJ, PBD Podcast. People who think a con man lunatic is a brilliant man. That's just to tell you. It's not about ideology, right? If you can't recognize that this man is a look, just look at him. Just look at this man. What kind of person would look at this guy and say he's brilliant? What does he have on his head? Right? Why he got that goddamn hat on? It's not even just the hat. It's that thing he got like a hoodie underneath. Like, what are you wearing? And then he's got that grandpa sweater. And just look in his eyes. You can see he's lost. Something's missing. It's not just me like judging him based on what he said and done. The guy is a lunatic. But the people who think PBD Podcast, yeah, they're real good. And I love that show. Yeah, they really talk some real good stuff and, some real good opinions. And I learned some stuff watching PBD. People who feel like that feel like this lunatic is a brilliant man. The man is telling, look how many likes they're getting too. The man is telling the truth, 243. Finally, someone being interviewed and is actually talking. Okay. Look at this. I guess that's the woman. I'm so glad he's speaking his masculine truth. Finally, someone is telling the truth. Let me talk about that, by the way. If a man potentially looking at you, right, in terms of in a sexual way, and you're a heterosexual man, and you feel like you need to mouth off and threaten that person, that is not, well, let me clarify. That is what I call juvenile masculinity. Because before I would say that's not masculine, but it actually is, right? As if you're a 16-year-old, a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, then that behavior is appropriate for your age in terms of masculinity, right? You're immature, you are weak, right? You're still finding, who you are. But as a grown-ass man, and by the way, I did that, right? I behaved in the way that Terrence described in the video, talking about, producers looking at him like he's a woman, and he's got to tell him he's going to punch him in the face or whatever. Like, I didn't say those words, but I took on a very, very hostile, aggressive, like I wanted to fight, just based on somebody looking at me. Right, if you are a real man and secure in your masculinity, the fact that a guy looks at you in a sexual way, now it's another thing if he touches you or something like that, that's a whole nother story. But if a guy just looking at you and you're heterosexual, you're not into men, and that makes you feel like, I'm gonna punch you in the face, why are you looking at me? Like, that's not masculinity. That's not being a man. That's being a bitch. Why you give a fuck somebody looking at you? Okay, he looking at you. Take it as a compliment. You're not into guys? Okay, whatever. Nobody's saying you gotta date them. Nobody's saying you gotta go or talk to them or whatever. They looking at you, whatever. Keep it moving, keep it pushing. Why you gotta be, I'm trying to fight? That's juvenile masculinity. Grown-ass men know how to control their temper, right? When you're young, right, you have a lot of hormones going on and you don't have the discipline or maturity that a grown man would have, right? It's easy to get you to be yelling and punch you in the face, motherfucker, right? That's juvenile masculinity. But when we grow up as men, that's not how we behave. A grown-ass man is not using fighting words until there is a necessity to fight. Somebody's threatening your life. Someone's threatening the life of your loved one. Even in a situation where you're a good Samaritan, maybe there's some guy that's attacking a woman that you don't even know, so it doesn't have to be family members. It's just a woman, right? And some guy's chasing him, right? That's what it takes for a grown-ass man to be like, I'll punch you in your face if you don't leave that woman alone, right? You don't do that for some guy because he looked at you. That's a bitch move. That is a juvenile masculinity move. That is not how a grown-ass man should behave. When you have strength, it takes a lot to move you to the point where you're ready to fight. Right? I think when you look at the whole culture with Kung Fu, and I'm sure some other fighting styles where they teach you how to fight, and, you know, you could take somebody out with some of that stuff. But they teach it as a self-defense, not as a something to be violent, to attack someone. Not something to be used unnecessarily. It's a life and death situation. You use Kung Fu techniques to protect your life or the life of someone else. That is maturity. That is true masculinity. That's the real man card. The real man card is, I'm not worried about nonsense. I don't care about no Disney movie, Cinderella, pancake, M&M, bullshit. Some guy looked at me or somebody said something to me. Somebody that I don't have no relation to said words to me. Whether it's racist, whether it's offensive, it takes strength to let all that just roll off your back. If you're trying to fight and you're not going to allow me to walk away, then we gonna fight. Otherwise, I don't give a fuck what you gotta say. You can say whatever the fuck you want. You can look at me all the hell you want. I don't give a fuck. That's what grown-ass men do. Bitches and boys, they don't have that kind of discipline. They don't have that kind of strength. They don't have that kind of security where they, because that's an insecure thing. That's a guy's looking at me, first of all, I don't want to find that I might like it. That's number one, right? I don't want to find that I might like it. So I don't even want to go there. This makes me feel very uncomfortable. I got to shut it down 100%. Plus, I don't want nobody to think I'm a woman or I'm into that kind of stuff. I'm a grown-ass man. Would you look at me? That's a bitch move. That's how boys behave. That's not how a grown-ass man behave. This is the Baby Channel. The Baby comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell.